The audio is working. Test. Okay, we will let the record show that this is a meeting of the Dearborn County Local Alcoholic Beverage Board, the 17th day of March, 2026. I'm Brian Stewart with the Alcohol and Tobacco Commission. I'll let you gentlemen introduce yourselves.
John Rogers, Tom Smith, Glenn Eastman.
Okay, it looks like we have, well, let me ask, we don't have anybody here to remonstrate against any of the permits. Who are you here with? Okay, we've got you down for an automatic renewal today. So,
I wanted to make sure there was nobody here to remonstrate.
there we go.
I don't even know what that means.
Well, no news is good news.
That is good.
So there are 10 applications on the agenda. 9 of those are without violation, and nobody here to argue against the renewals. Just real quick, those are Ameristop Food Mart, the Half Moon Saloon, Willie's Sports Cafe, Georgia's Family Pharmacy, Hidden Valley Golf Course, Bayview Grill, La Rosa's at Greendale, Sinclair Aurora West, and Wawa number 7406. Since those 9 are without remonstrance, without violation, I make a motion to recommend approval.
So moved.
Okay, motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. These will go back to the commission for their meeting on April 7th.
Okay.
So you might just check your expiration date. Make sure you're,
We're good. We're in May.
okay. All right.
Cool. Thanks.
Thanks for coming in. So that leaves us with an application for a new 209 permit. This is a beer, wine, and liquor retail restaurant permit in an unincorporated area. And it's in the name of, is this, are you a sole proprietor? Okay, so it's in your name.
It's gonna get switched eventually, but for now, it's still just. my
Okay.
name.
I think everybody here is familiar, but if you could just state your name for the record.
Doug Holcamp,
And if you can raise your right hand, we'll get you sworn in. Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the answers to any questions on your application, as well as the answers to any questions asked by this board, to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes.
Thank you. And do you have the affidavit there? Yeah. Come on up here.
Right, orange sign, I guess.
Yeah,
Excise stopped and visited me. And so, yeah,
yeah. So Lonnie's
he
already
saw my
done,
sign and knew I had it up.
so yeah, Lonnie's already done the inspection of the
Lonnie Gibson.
location. So here's a copy of the application if you want to take a look at that. And if you could just tell us a little bit about your plans
Yeah,
for this permit.
we've been, this application really isn't going to change much from what we've been doing. Actually, it's what excise has been asking us to do for a couple of years, several years. And so the way we do wine and beer is just, I think, a paperwork nightmare for them. And they've always said, just get the restaurant, the two-way restaurant permit. And so I purchased Great Crescent Brewery in Aurora, and I'm gonna keep it in the county. I'm just moving it up to where we are. And so it started to muddy up the waters a bit. So then they started pressing me a little more and saying, just with your plan, and I had an addition put on, a pavilion. And so with the way they say having having beer and produced and wine produced, there has to be physical separation. So then, the women that come there and drink wine, if the men come and their husbands want to drink beer, they can't be sitting together, which is just the goofiest laws, but that's just the laws that have been around a long time. And I also, purchased some equipment from Ridge Winery, and then Ridge Winery just opened here in Lawrenceburg, but when he was in Vive, I purchased his bottle filler, and I also purchased his still. So it's not operational. And I know when it does, I'll have to go through those hoops, but, so they said, if you're gonna do the two-way permit, just apply for the three-way permit. When you do get the still operational, it'll be a whole nother process, I know. Then that way, all three alcohol producing entities will sell to the tasting room to make it, so that's, it's basically not changing anything from what we do now. It's just it's actually cheaper doing this way than it is the other way. It's crazy, but
So what have you done in the past? And I'm filling in for the officer usually assigned here. So I'll be the first to say I'm not completely familiar with the area. But how have you done it in the past as far as to get beer
Yeah.
and liquor?
no, never had liquor. I've never really had, never had the, I have people that want to do events and they always ask. I have no interest in serving Jack and Coke, for instance, for people that are coming. That's not my intention for having that permit. It is to, when I start distilling, it'll be brandy. Farm winery permit, the next thing that a lot of wineries do is they become brandy distillers because it's distilled wine. And I've got a lot of wine that I'd like to distill. So, but that's, that's not the reason I'm here, is for that. So I'm not, and right now the only place around us that has the liquor permit, I think, is Weedoff's. Clump's never had a liquor permit and they're closed anyway. So, but once again, I don't really want to be that. I just want to keep it. I'm really doing it for the beer and the wine. But I said, if you go, and if the excise came in and saw, I think, an empty bottle of, I think it was maybe like a Jim Beam or something from a party that we had had, and well, they didn't they didn't write me up. He just kind of warned me and said, I says, well, we had some friends over, and he says, and do you realize that that's a no? You're not allowed to have that in that building. It's fun. And I said, I know, I never thought about that. We're worried about that.
Well, I would just the caveat that somebody can't bring it in.
Right. No, yeah.
So that gets you halfway there. If somebody,
How many people try to bring in?
yeah,
There was a bunch of people bringing in beer. We had a temporary permit Saturday, and we had to tell them at the table, guys, you cannot bring that beer in here. And I thought, once I get a restaurant permit, then it's a big no-no. But I don't want them to bring it. I don't want them to bring in beer when we're going to be producing it ourselves, obviously.
Right.
I almost wanted to, I didn't want an excise officer to come there because I don't want to get a fine for it, but I almost wish he could just go to a table like that and flash that badge and make those guys, pee their pants, like, you're gonna get a ticket. I want to tell people, if you name a place, a bar or a restaurant, anywhere that you've gone and you bring in your own, tell me where it is, because I don't know.
so the thing you want to keep in mind with this particular type of permit is that there are minimum food sales
Mhm.
requirements you're going to be required to hit. You'll have to do 200,000 in the first 2 years to kind of build up steam, 100,000 in food sales every year thereafter.
Yeah.
So, I think that breaks down to
Do that.
300 and some.
My brain goes off how many
Yeah.
10-inch pizzas we make, so.
So, just keep in mind, that's going to be a requirement to keep this particular type of permit.
Okay. That shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, and that's simply due to the fact that it's a three-way in an unincorporated area.
Would it be the same with the two-way?
Nope, if you got a two-way, which would be a 112 permit, beer and wine, but there's no minimum.
Food requirements?
Yeah.
We don't have a problem meeting those food requirements, but I was just curious.
And that's what some 209s have had to do. If they're in it a year or two and we're not going to be able to make it, they back down to
Back down to
that beer and wine. The only hang up on that is those permits have to be tied to an unincorporated area. So there is a rather loose quorum or quota on those types of permits. So, but it's generally not a problem to get those. So,
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. We have pizzas right now, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I know it'll have to be 5 days, Wednesday and Thursday. So, I've got my team, a couple of the guys said that they'll be able to, produce pizzas. If not, we have plans to have sandwiches. Actually, the guy that works with me has been bitching at me for years to have something other than pizza. So, we'll have something. I know he said sandwiches, soups, tea, coffee, tea, milk.
so
We have coffee and.
yeah. So when you fill out your renewal for this, in say 10 months or so, you'll be required to put your food sales figures on for that. So, okay. I don't have
any questions. I've only been there, your place once, that was in the summertime.
No.
How you do in the wintertime? Do you do pretty good? Stay pretty?
Yeah, we do actually in the winter, it's a lot slower,
Yeah.
which is the reason I put that pavilion on. And I just got it sealed up with, and heated. So
Okay.
that makes a big difference.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that, so.
And, it's, a lot of people think of us as an outdoor venue and we kind of are, but, it's, we'll have extra seating now.
No, nice place out there.
Thank you. It's been well, we planted our vineyard in 2013 and then, started selling at stores and festivals in 14 and 15. We just had a weekend tasting room, but 13 years of hell, crawling through hell to make that, what it is now. And it's just, so it's been great. And I'm happy to keep as far as I know, I think that's the only brewery in Dearborn County. So I'm gonna keep it here. It's just gonna be a little further north.
Do you have the brewery permit or
No, I have to do that still.
okay. You got the equipment, you bought the equipment.
The equipment is currently paid for. I bought it. It's at Dan's at Great Crescent down there. And it's been chaos trying to get things done. So I haven't brought it up there yet. So, and that's the other reason he said, because right now my next door neighbor is Hearth Brewery in Harrison that just started. So, I can bring in beer from them with this permit until Great Crescent's up and running. Then I don't have to buy Budweiser or Miller or anything like that. But yeah, soon the equipment will be there and working.
Same process. If you remember back to when you got your wine, you'll need your federal brewer's notice. And then before the state will act on your state.
Yeah,
brewer's
you'll have to
permit.
come back and inspect for that.
Yep.
It's a process, but it'll be worth it. And then distilling too, when that happens, it's gotta be a separate building. I don't
Now,
even have that done yet, but
and you
I
also
do things
want,
backwards, I buy the equipment. And it's there, it looks pretty, but it's not operational.
you want to also keep in mind, there's a prohibition against the same entity holding brewery, distillery, and winery.
Yeah, I don't think they can hold.
Can't hold all three. So, keep that in mind as you go forward.
Yeah, because I want someone to help me with it anyway. One of the guys that works with me, wants to do it. So it might be a thing where he's involved in it or partnered in it. But that's a whole nother bridge that I'll cross when I get there. But yeah, it's, several more inspections and we got they come and inspect the winery all the time. Well, once a year, usually they pop in.
All right. Do we have a motion or? Got a motion and a second for a recommendation of approval. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, so this, as I mentioned earlier, this will go to the commission for its April 7th meeting.
Okay.
So you don't need to appear for that. They typically don't take any public testimony, so.
So I just need to, nothing else
Yeah.
Just keep operating the way I am until that gets approved or,
Yeah.
okay,
And then it's typically 7 to 10 days after the commission meeting, you'll get the new permit. That time you can start operating the restaurant. Call your distributors and they can start making
so
deliveries.
the excise guys will then be happy. They don't have to deal with paperwork every other week, it seems like.
So, all right.
And your sheriff too, 'cause I gotta go down and he has to approve all that each time. I think there's just gotta be an easier way. Well, there is.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in
All right,
today.
thanks, guys. Good talking to you.
That, make a motion, we,
Remind me who you are when you come up there. See ya.
Yeah, take care.
I'd make a motion, we adjourn.
So move.
All in favor?
All right.